Welcome to Coaches-Clinic.com, and thank you for attending the third in a series of youth basketball coaching clinics we are currently conducting. Before we get started, I'd just like to give you a brief introduction to who I am. My name is Rob Rhodes. I'm based out of Louisville, Kentucky, and I'm about ready to enter my 18th season of coaching grade school and middle school basketball, primarily at the 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th grade level. I'm also one of the original founders of Coaches-Clinic.com. So just a brief overview of the agenda we're going to cover in the clinic. First, we're going to talk about our press break setup. So our base press break and how we set up against zone presses. Key coaching points that we like to stress with our team throughout the season. How we attack the zone press and adjustments we make there. How we attack a man press, and then how we initiate our press break from the sideline. So before we get into our base press break setup, I just want to point out the areas in red on the screen, and those are areas we refer to our kids to as danger zones, and those are areas on the floor that we stress to them that we do not want them to pick up or lose their dribble when we're attacking the press. So in our base press break setup, our number 5 is always the player taking the ball out, and they're always looking as their first option to get it to the number 1 player. And the number 1 player is always on the ball side of the floor, trying to stay above the foul line and extend it. Our number 2 player is always on the right side of the floor, above the hash and below the half court line. Our number 3 is always on the left side of the floor, above the hash and below the half court line. And then our number 4 is on the opposite end of the floor at the top of the key. So just some key coaching points that we stress throughout the season with our team. And number 1 is the best way to beat the press after a made basket is to attack it before it can be set up. Now, we like to run the Loyola Marymount number break system after all made baskets, so we're constantly attacking the defense. And, oh, by the way, just as a note, we'll be doing a clinic in the coming weeks covering how we use that. But in dead ball situations, we're going to run our press break. Our number 2 coaching point is we teach and drill our players that you beat the press with a pass and not the dribble. Our number 3 is we always teach and drill our number 5 not to inbound the ball from behind the backboard. And we believe this is key because if you inbound the ball, if the number 5 inbounds the ball behind the basket, they will take away the option of throwing the long baseball style pass down the floor. We also teach and drill our number 5 that after a made basket, they can run the baseline if they need to. Our number 5 point is we stress to the number 1 that they not get too far below the foul line, extend it, and that they have to work to get open. As we mentioned earlier, our number 5's option, number 1 option is to try to get the ball to number 1. So that means number 1 cannot stand around. They must work to get open. Our 6th coaching point is we teach and drill our players to face the press and not turn their backs to the defense. This is especially important when you're facing a trapping zone press. We also teach our players to stay out of the danger zones, as we mentioned earlier. We teach and drill our numbers 2s and numbers 3s that they must come to the middle of the floor when the ball is inbounded to their opposite side, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the coming slides. We teach and drill that if the ball goes outside, so if a pass is made outside, we're looking to make our next pass to go inside and vice versa, and we'll be talking about a little bit more about that in the coming slides. And then the number 10 point is don't fear the press, but rather see it as an opportunity to score. So as we mentioned earlier, number 5 is always the player inbounding the ball, and they're always looking to get it to the number 1 as their first option. So in the slide presented, you see the ball has number 5 has passed the ball to number 1. Now, the one point I want to mention out here, the key coaching point is once number 5 inbounds the ball, they must get to the middle of the floor and they want to stay below the number 1 and give them a good passing angle. And we'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. So number 1 has received the pass. Their first option is number 3, because if you recall, one of our coaching points is that if the pass is made outside, our first place we want to look to pass is inside. So number 1's first option is get it to number 3. You also may remember that we mentioned that that if the ball is passed in, when the ball is passed in, the number 2 or number 3, whichever is opposite player on the side the ball comes in, they must come to the middle of the floor hard. So the ball's gone to the right side of the floor. Number 3 has got to come to the middle of the floor very hard. Now, I also want to take just a second to point out that we're showing the press break going up the right side of the floor and all the slides, but obviously it can come down on the left side of the floor as well.